Hey everyone, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my Stamplar build that I've been using for Update 40 and the current Meteor Mayhem, and I'm sorry, Whitestrakes Mayhem. Sorry, I keep on calling it Meteor. I really hope that you guys enjoy this build. I have been absolutely loving this. My spell damage is absolutely through the roof. I get to about 9k spell damage on this build, and it has been just slapping people. It's been so much fun. I really haven't enjoyed Stamplar for the most part for the past like year or two, but this build has kind of brought me back, and I really like this build a lot. So guys, real quick, before we look at the gear and all that stuff, if you could just pause the video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and then unpause the video, I would be eternally grateful to every single one of you. I'd really appreciate that, guy. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. We're going to be in Imperial on our Templar. In my opinion, Imperial is best in slot because of that overall reduced cost that you have on all of your abilities, and it really helps it so that you can just sustain really easily. We're also going to have 60 points into health and 4 points into stamina. And don't worry, I will explain very shortly why we have that much health in there and still have such little health just overall. So that's going to give us a max magic pool of 16.5k, a max health pool of 31.9k, and a max stamina pool of 17.9k as well. We're also going to be using Orzoga Smoked Bear Hunch for our food, increase that max health as much as possible, and also increase that recovery. It really helps you out a lot. Also, we're using the Apprentice as our Mundus. That's going to increase our overall spell damage as much as possible. You always want to build in the spell damage into Templar because you can get higher spell damage than weapon damage just due to the simple fact of the passives of Templar. Then also Vampire Stage 3 as well. Don't ever forget that because that is going to make you a lot tankier the lower health you have because of that Undeath passive. So looking at our monster set, we're going to be using a heavy reinforced Balorg helmet and a medium well-fitted Balorg shoulder. Balorg is going to give us line of weapon and spell damage. Then also when you use an ultimate ability, you're going to gain weapon and spell damage equal to the total amount of ultimate consumed. So basically, in layman's terms, if you use 200 ultimate, you're going to get 200 weapon and spell damage increased. Also on top of that, the same thing for penetration. You're going to be getting equal to 23 times the amount of total ultimate consumed. So same thing where it's 200 times 23, and you're going to get that much penetration as well. And then moving on to our first gear set, we're going to be using Wretched Vitality, a heavy reinforced chest piece, and that is going to give us a line of magic recovery, stam recovery, weapon and spell damage, and then while in combat, applying a major buff or debuff to a target grants you 260 magic recovery and stam recovery for 15 seconds. Same thing with the minor buff or debuff, it's going to give you 130 magic and stam recovery. So basically, you just apply a major buff or debuff to yourself, so that's going to be on our back bar. We're going to be using Race Against Time on our back bar, and that's going to apply both conditions of it. So that's a really easy way to just proc both conditions, and that is awesome. You are just having such high recovery because of that one set, and it makes it so that your sustain is really not a problem at all. And then our mythic on this build is going to be Thracian Stranglers. We're going to have a light well-fitted for this. So Thracians is what makes this build. I have been really liking this. It's my first time using Thracians in PvP, and guys, prepare to see this in a lot more future videos because I am really liking this. So this is going to be, basically I'm just going to explain the one piece. Killing an enemy grants you a stack of Slode's Call for 1 hour, up to a maximum of 50 stacks, and each stack is going to increase my weapon and spell damage by 23. So real quick, I'm going to do the math on my phone. 50 times 23, that's going to increase our max weapon and spell damage by 1,150. So that is insane. That is so much spell damage for just having a one piece. But the downside to it is that you're going to have your health reduced by 120 per stack as well. So that comes out to 6,000 health. So that is why we build so much into our attributes for health. And so that's also why we use Wretched Vitality as well. That way we're going to have low magic and stamina, but the best way to combat that is just have high recovery as well. So that's why we're doing what we're doing on this build. I really like Thracians. That overall damage is insane, and we're also building into all well fitted, so that is just going to really help our overall sustain with our roll dodges and our sprint as well. We can also get one piece trainee on this build, so we're using medium well fitted for our belt as well because that's going to give us an extra line of max health, and we need that on this build. And then heavy Wretched Vitality legs as well in reinforced, and then medium well fitted boots as well for Wretched Vitality. Then our other set is going to be Rallying Cry, because that's going to make us pretty tanky. It's going to increase our overall weapon and spell damage as well. So it's going to be a front bar set. It's going to give us a line of crit chance, max magic, another line of crit chance, and while Battle Spirit is active, so basically when you're in Battlegrounds, Imperial City, Citadel, or in a duel, critically healing yourself or an ally is going to cause you and up to 11 other group members to gain 300 weapon spell damage and 1650 crit resist as well. So it gives you more spell damage and it gives you crit resist as well, so it makes you pretty tanky. So this set is just really meta, and there's a reason why everybody's been using this. It's just really strong. So again, we're going to be using an infused ring. Well, actually, we're using all infused on our jewelry for Rallying Cry. We're using 2 rings and an amulet. All is going to be infused with weapon and spell damage enchantments as well. And then our front bar weapons are going to be Rallying Cry maces. Our main hand is going to be Nirnhoned with a increased weapon spell damage enchantment on it. And our offhand is going to be sharpened with a magic damage enchantment on it as well. And then our back bar is going to be an Ice Staff of Wretched Vitality, defending with an increased weapon spell damage enchantment on it as well. So moving on, we have our skills right here, but I want to bring that into the other menu. So we're going to look at our champion points first, because, you know, doesn't really matter which order we go in, and personally I want to show you these when we have a bigger screen on it. So we're going to look at our blue CP first. We're going to be using Untamed Aggression, Focus Mending, Ironclad, and Mastered Arms. And then our red tree is going to be Survival Instincts, Celerity, Sustained by Suffering, and Pain's Refuge. In our green tree, what we really care about, I'm just going to go into the green tree real quick, is Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. Make sure you have Breakfall on here. Trust me, that is necessary. I don't think I'm missing anything on here. I think I've gone over everything. I'm just going to go over these skills now in the actual skills menu as well. So, Biting Jabs is going to be our main spammable. Make sure that you are just spamming this on your enemies. This is hitting really hard. This is the first time I've actually had this ability hit hard in a while. And this is also going to be your source of major brutality and sorcery. So it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 20%, so for 10 seconds. So make sure this is active at all times. Even if you're not fighting anybody, make sure to just activate this. That way your heals are even higher too, because, you know, you want your major sorcery up at all times. You want your spell damage as high as possible, because that's going to get you your heals as high as possible as well. We're also going to be using Camo Hunter on our front bar as well. This is going to be giving you Major Savagery and Prophecy, so it's going to increase your weapon spell critical by 2,600. Also, you're going to get Minor Berserk when you deal damage from the enemy's flank, so it's going to increase your overall damage as well. We're also using Toppling Charge on this build. This is our nice form of a CC on this build. It's not going to go through people that are using block, but overall, I really do like it. It's a gap closer, it's a CC, and on top of that, you're going to get major protection as well for 4 seconds, so it's going to reduce your damage taken by 10%. It makes you super tanky. Also, we're using Power of the Light. This is a great way to just catch your enemies off guard and just burst them down. You apply this to your enemies, they start just stacking damage when you just start doing biting jabs on them. And right when this is about to pop after 6 seconds, hit them with that Toppling Charge, CC them, hit them with that beam combo, and that is a great way to secure a very easy kill. And then we're going to be using Radiant Oppression as our execute on this build. This is a great ability because A, it goes through roll dodge, and B, it just hits really, really hard. So when your enemy's at low health, hit this on them, boom, easy kill. Then also we're using Dawnbreaker of Smiting because Dawnbreaker is an amazing ultimate to use. Having that CC on there is awesome. Also, it hits really, really hard on this, so don't forget to use this as often as you can. Also, on top of that, when you're using this, you're going to get that Balorg ultimate as well, so that's going to help you with your overall weapon and spell damage. So just keep that in mind when you're comboing your abilities. And then on our back bar, we're using Restoring Focus. So this is going to be the Stam morph of this, and this is going to be giving you major resolves. So this is going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 6k. Also, you're going to be getting Stam as a form of getting this. Oh my god, what am I saying? You're going to be getting Stam back as well during this ability as well, during this duration. I can't even speak anymore. And that's going to be a great way to keep your Stam sustain up. And also, you're going to be getting healed for 1,000 health every 1 second as well. So that is huge for your overall health regain as well. Oh my god, I can't even speak anymore. And then Race Against Time. This is going to be your source of Major Expedition and Minor Force. This is going to increase your movement speed by 30% and increase your critical damage by 10%. Also, it's going to be your snare removal as well. So when you're stuck in place, hit that, boom, you can move. Then also Resolving Vigor. It's going to be a nice 5-second heal over time to get you back to full health pretty quickly. Also on top of that, it's going to be giving you minor resolve, so this will increase your physical and spell resistance by 3k as well. Then Honor the Dead. This is going to be your burst heal. This is going to get you basically right back up to full health. Also, if you have allies that are in trouble, hit this, boom, shoots them right back up to full health. This has such a high tooltip on it. It is absolutely phenomenal. And then Extended Ritual. This is going to be your cleanse, so it's going to cleanse harmful effects off you. So if you're just having too much dot pressure on you, hit this. A lot of those dots are going to be going away. It's beautiful. And then on top of that, Temporal Guard is going to be our back bar ultimate. The only reason why we're using this is because it's going to give us minor protection on our back bar while slotted. So that is the entire build real quick. I'm just going to explain real quick how to gain these stacks for Thracians really quickly while in PvP and give some a few tips on that. That way you're just not lost real quick. Alright, so the easiest way to build your 50 stacks of Thracians real quick when you're in PvP is I'm on EP right now, so what I do is I go to the Northern Morrowind Gate where they are sieging right here. If you're on AD or DC, I believe for AD it will be the Eastern Gate. You just gotta go down there, and I think it's, oh god, and I think it's just down that path right over here for AD, and then for DC, I believe it'll be on the southern one. So if you're on DC, it'll be the southern. For AD, it'll be the eastern. But for me, on EP, it'll be the northern. So basically what you're going to want to do real quick, just to build these stacks real quick, is you just use a Fireball Ballista. And you see how there's just the dummies targeted around all over here? If you defeat one with the siege, which that's the only way to defeat them, that'll gain you a stack. So all you got to do is just shoot at this. Boom. And that's 3 right there. That's 3 stacks. You saw 3 of them go down. And you just need to... The best way to do this is just have a few just that are on different areas like this. You know, there's some up here. Just line that up. Then that gets 2. You know, gets these 3 right here. Then you have 1 over here lined up for the back. Just like that. And you just combo between them and you'll get your 50 stacks in no time. It's tedious, yes, and it's annoying, yes. I can't even argue with that, but that spell damage is nothing to be upset about. I absolutely love it. So guys, thank you for watching.